Hey y'all, how you doing? I don't know if anyone else out there is feeling a little dumbfounded that it's already the end of 2023, but here we are, and I'm coming to you today from a beautiful sunny day in the mountains here in Peru, full alpaca sweater on duty, to share a little bit about my reflection and visioning process, my passion for reflecting on the past year and really creating space for a new vision to come, And I think yeah, the new year, it's kind of an arbitrary time, right? But it's a good time to sit down, to reflect on what's past, to make space for what's coming, to celebrate ourselves, to understand what we've learned, kind of to integrate and to unpack this past period of our life, lest life just continue to kind of go and go and go. So we're here. It's end of December. I always like to take this time at the end of the year, kind of between Christmas and New Year's, to not book too many meetings. I mean, there's still a lot of meetings, I have to admit. Life is busy right now, but to take some time to set aside at least part of the day, a couple of the days, to do some visioning, to do some reflecting. So I just wanted to share some of the topics that I personally like to journal on, and maybe it will inspire you. I will also link this workbook that I created for myself and for others who want to do it in the comments or the description of the video so that you can try it yourself if you feel so inclined. Um, so, kind of two parts, reflecting on the year past. Why is this important? Really for integration, right? So that we can understand what we've moved through, what's changed, what we've learned, how we've developed. So often in life, we don't take that time to sit down and really see, really understand from a higher perspective how much we've changed and grown. It is so important to step back and celebrate and offer gratitude and acknowledgement for everything that has passed, for everything we've experienced, for all the ways that we've changed for the positive, and actually acknowledging the ways that we've aligned with our intentions that we might have had for ourselves in the past year, right? So some of the questions that I like to ask myself and journal about when I'm doing my yearly review is, what were some of the things that I'm celebrating from this past year? What were the biggest learnings? What were some of the biggest challenges that I overcame? Looking at both the highs and the lows, right? Like, what were some of the hardest moments that I had this year? How did I deal with that? What were some of the relationships that were notable for me this year? What were some of the new people that came into my life, and what did they bring? Notable experiences. So in order to go through this process, often it can be nice to go back through your photos. If you have Google Photo or it saves, you can just go back through your phone. Oftentimes our photos will trigger the memories of what we were doing each month, so you can kind of do this month by month, or you can just do it overall, but kind of reflecting month by month. What were some of the experiences that I had that were memorable, that were important, and why were those memorable, right? Oftentimes why something is memorable or notable for us reveals some of our core values that we're currently holding. Can also be really good to look back at the main areas of your life development, whether you have a wheel of life or you just kind of think about the main areas of your life. So your relationships, your work or your career, your home life, your family, your finances, your creative life, your spiritual life, your intellectual life or your skills, and your health, of course. So in all of these areas, just taking a moment to reflect on where did I develop myself in these areas? This is my doggy. Look at her. She's so cute. Where did I, yeah, it's Pookie. She likes to be on video. Where did I grow? Where did I develop in these areas? Where did I have challenges in these areas? Which of these areas did I really focus on more, which were a little bit more neglected this year? And they might have come into balance throughout the year, right? So it might be a month by month thing, but just kind of reflecting on those things. And yeah, and as well, what worked well? What did I try? Where did I put myself out of my comfort zone? Where did I take a risk this year? And where did it work out for me? Recognizing where you took a leap, and the more that we can recognize that, we confirm for ourselves, we build that neural pathway of risk taking, of conscious risk taking, right? Not reckless risk taking, but pushing our comfort zone and actually beating our fears and making those steps to grow. Because in order to grow, we're always going to have to be pushing some comfort zone and feeling a little bit of fear, pushing and leaning into the fear. So those are a few of the questions that I like to ask for the year past, as well as gratitude, just expressing gratitude, just writing thank you for this, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And of course, anything that you want to release. If there's anything this year that's been kind of holding you back, or it's felt like a blockage or a consistent limiting belief or a consistent block you've been coming up against, take some time to release it. You know, you can work with fire, you can work with earth, you can bury it, you can release it in the water, burn it in the fire, you know, release it to the sky. Let it go, you know, create space. And I recommend taking some time between the reflection and the visioning. So maybe doing these on 2 different days. So you do your reflection one day, and then you literally give that space to breathe. You know, you just let it settle before stepping into the visioning. And for visioning for the coming year, you know, I love to do intention setting. It's nice to sit with, what are my current core values? What are my priorities? What are the areas of my life that I want to develop? You can go back and look at those 8 areas that I mentioned and say, okay, where do I want to be by the end of 2024 in all of these areas, or whatever year it is? You can do this any year. Is there a word that embodies your intention for this year? This is really, really powerful. Is there a word that represents your theme, that represents your intention, that you can come back to? And your word might have supporting words, right? So if your word, for example, is expansion, you might have like creativity, you might have nature, you might have some other, like, what does expansion mean to you? Or you might have, I'll be totally honest, I haven't yet come up with my word for the year yet, because I'm sitting down to do this process in the next couple of days. It's been a busy month. But coming up with that word and any supportive words. Creating a vision board can be an incredibly powerful process to visually embody your intentions through images, ideally mostly through images. You can also use words as well. Yeah, talking about the areas of your life that you want to develop, there's kind of a nice framework I like to use, which is kind of these 3 areas of experience. What do you want to experience? Where do you want to grow? And how do you want to contribute? So these 3 areas, when we're having fulfilling experiences in our life, when we're growing in aligned ways, and when we're contributing from an authentic place in ourselves, these are the important pillars of a fulfilled life, right? So in terms of your experiences that you want to have, think about, what kind of goals or opportunities do I want to pursue? What kind of adventures do I want to have? You know, physical experiences in the world. What kind of relationships do I want to have? What kind of emotional experiences do I seek to have this year? Or do I feel will help fulfill me in a new way in this coming year? So those are all the experiences, right? For growth, you know, thinking about, where do I want to grow? What skills do I want to develop? What intellectual capacities do I want to develop? What do I want to learn more about this year? How do I want to expand and grow in my health? How do I want to grow in my health and my fitness? And how do I want to grow creatively? You know, what's a new creative hobby or skill that I want to develop this year? And finally, for contribution, thinking about your career and your work. You know, how do I want to better the world through my work that I'm doing? And how do I want to better the world through my community, in my local community? How can I serve? How can I be in service? Even if your career isn't one that you're necessarily contributing in the way you want to in the world, you're always contributing somehow. So whether that's working with your colleagues, whether that's spreading, you know, energy, or what are you doing to better your workplace or the world through your work, right? Your community, projects that you can get involved with. How can you contribute through your family? How can you better your family relationships? How can you improve someone's life in your own family? And yeah, and as well, creativity can sometimes come into contribution. How can you contribute to the world creatively? How can you create more beauty and more light and more joy and more play through your creativity? So yeah, these are some things to vision about. And as well, just thinking about, you know, what are the dreams that I have for myself? What are the dreams I have for the next 3 to 5 years? And what do I need to do in the next year to move towards that? So it's not just about 1 year ahead. We really want to think farther, because there's so much that we can do in 1 year. But if we think about a bigger vision for 3 to 5 years, then we can see this next year as a step in that direction. Think about your ideal day. What do you want your days to look like? Because how we create our days is how we create our life, right? There's no difference. Our life is accumulation of our days. When you think about your ideal day, think about your ideal morning. How do I want my morning routine to go? How do I want to be connecting to myself? How do I want to care for myself? How do I want to care for my mind, my heart, my body, my spirit? Journaling, meditating, moving your body, exercising, getting out into nature, having conversations with people that you love, conscious conversations, real authentic conversations. These are the ways that we design our ideal life, right? It's just designing our ideal day first and foremost. Think about your work time. Think about how you want to be sitting down to approach your life's work. You know, what mindset do I want to have? What do I want to be creating? What is important for me to bring through? What do I want to make space for? You know, how can I make space for spontaneous magic and opportunities and things that I might not expect? Because the truth is we can vision, but we can't plan everything. We can't control. And so it's important as well to build in space to breathe, space to feel, to be, you know, to pray, to listen. So anyway, maybe this was a bit of a tangent, but that's a bit of my reflection and visioning process. I'm going to try to keep this video short. I will attach my book below if you're interested in that. And yeah, I would love to hear if you work with it, how you find it. So yeah, wishing you an incredible year ahead and rest of this year. And yeah, I hope this could help with your own reflection and creation process. Much love from Peru.